I gotta admit, this episode both turned the tide and became very, very emotional in certain ways. Hope you enjoyed this. Watching this Sullivan latest rule of Naruto Shippuden, episode 384. Horror. And right now, things are on the edge. Knowing that Sasuke and Naruto, they're getting ready to make their final move against Obito together this time. But Obito, he's not gonna take it lying down, coming up with a sword and shield. Is it me or his sword looks kind of like the strands of DNA? Now, I read the original manga, I know this already. And in fact, this episode was straight up canon, except with a few certain points. Right, but Naruto, they know that even despite Obito trying to react bad, they're not going to make it, give up. And so is Obito. They got Herman to do this right now. And I got to admit, this episode has some amazing creativity and such. For example, when Naruto and his friends, he shared even more power than he had before with them. He did, he could, using his friend's strength and they're using his strength to literally overcome Obito's power and effort. They know how it's gonna end, and knowing that this world don't stop. Now that the world they know is literally gonna end around them, but all because. And things are not they seem. And I think the longer and longer Obito keeps fighting Naruto, the more and more he keeps reminding him of his old self. I mean, we've already seen this before, over and over again, throughout this whole arc. This is why Obito wants to defeat him so badly, to prove that he is wrong. But now that he's finally seen in his past, before his in these images, I think he's starting to get through his thick skull. I read the manga, I know. I've seen this. This happened before, but he started seeing the images. Even though, despite Naruto, so he still wants to reject them, and that's not something to do. Even though he got in the upper hand and managed the best Obito, things are still still loose-sided, because they have to make sure because even though Obito is weakened now to the point, and the tail beasts are unraveling around him, and it's still very hard to hex, because not the fact that Naruto himself, he is trying his best, yes, and so are the others. They're lending him strength, he's lending them strength, and to literally overcome Obito, doing everything they can. Now that Obito has become weakened, he can, and the tail beast himself are being pulled out of him one by one, and everything. He is right now losing control of everything. That means the tide has turned for the Shinobi Alliance. Right, and things right now, because Naruto now he's seeing the chakra. He's seeing and extracting the chakra of the other tail beast, except for the 8 tail. It was in Shikaku, the 1 tail, because he never received the chakra. But you get my point. But now that he's done this, he now has somewhat of a psychic link with Obito. Chakra could be pulled by chakra. It's a chakra tug of war. We've seen this before. Excuse me. Chakra tug of war. Something like this is not taken easily and very lightly, because the chakra tug of war itself, it's basically pulling energy from energy. Like you're pulling energy from the source. Naruto has an expert at it before. But things are right now on the edge. Knowing that he's seeing Obito's past, his dreams, and the fact that he can finally understand why Obito is doing this. He was led down the wrong. He was like Naruto. He was led down the wrong path. He had everything, but he had everything to hope for. But then it all fell apart with the person he loved, his best friend, person he loved. Being succumbed to the power of evil and literally destroying his own home and putting on a mask and even discarding his own name. And it's proof. That's proof right there, then and there, that it's not going to make it. Despite everything, Obito still has hope. Because even though he sees his past, part of him doesn't want to deny his past. His past was his really. He wants to make the past a reality again with the infinite Tsukuyomi and the divine tree. I'm gonna call it Divine Tree just this once, but I prefer God Tree. But because I read the manga, the tree itself with its power, he wants to make fantasy reality. But even though Obito wants this, he wants to make sure the path and make sure that everyone follows his dream. But he doesn't care about the consequences. Naruto doesn't want to follow him. He doesn't want, and he wants him to accept himself in this. And I've seen in the next episode, the previews, it seems that we're going to get more and more into the Obito story, more than we got in the manga. And the manga for the specific canon, I think the same. Yeah, but that's just strict filler. But you get my point. You all know my point, right? You get where I'm coming from, right? Hey, but you get my point. This is not something that I should expect. That you should expect. After all, things are what you call on the edge. So, what do you expect? Because now that Obito and Naruto are meeting face to face, and Naruto is seeing Obito's mind, he now understands him a little more now. Can he come out of it? What can Naruto do to persuade him? I've read the manga. I know what's gonna happen next. Those of you who are straight up manga readers, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you who haven't, well, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. But trust me, this is an episode that you must see, and so is the episode after this. Trust me, and you are in for a treat. But well, not so much a treat. It's too much action, but an emotional treat. If you want to know the truth and you want this resolved, at least for someone, but in some ways. But let's just say, when it comes to the story, things can often go up, but they can often go down. Hope you enjoyed this part of the Sullivan review of Naruto Shippuden, episode 384. A heart filled with courage. Matt, hope you enjoyed this part of comments to the right. Sorry.